Hi, everybody. We're going to do just a quick little summary video on distance, displacement, and position. So what that kind of template uh, thing about robots was saying is there are three different ways we look at distances between things in physics. So number one will be distance. Okay, so distance, the symbol is just a D, and this is distance. Okay, and so distance is exactly how you would think, right? It is the distance from one point to another. Okay, so it's going to be the length in meters or kilometers, really, between two objects. Or even points. There's something called your displacement, and that's represented by D with a little hat thing or a little arrow on top. What this means is that it is a vector. And all a vector is it has a magnitude and a direction. So the main difference between distance and displacement is that distance is just, oh, okay, I am 2 meters around a track, where displacement says, oh, I'm 3 meters from you, or I'm 3 meters from this cup. Okay? And this kind of makes more sense if we look at it like a racetrack. Okay, so this is displacement. And so displacement is always measured from one point to another. Okay, and here is an example of the difference between distance and displacement. So let's say we have a racetrack. Okay, so here's your racetrack. And so this racetrack obviously has a start point. So here I am running, New Year's resolution. And I'm going to go around the racetrack. Now I know that this racetrack has a distance of 800 meters. Okay, so if I travel in, let's say, 30 seconds over to this part, point B, here I'm going this way now, right? What is the distance that I've traveled? The distance that I've traveled is half the track, so 400 meters. Okay, now if I continue that whole way, what's my distance traveled? My distance traveled will be 800 meters. Now, the tricky part with displacement is where you start compared to where you finish. So in this example, sure, my distance is 800 meters, but here my displacement is 0 meters because I've gone nowhere, right? My net displacement is 0 because my start point is the exact same as my finishing point. And you guys have all kind of this experience where you're walking somewhere. So let's say we're walking somewhere and we encounter a river. Okay, this river has a sweet bridge that goes across it, and underneath is a troll. Okay, and so let's say I'm walking again, but this time I want to get to point A over here. Okay, let's say there's a snack here. Okay, and so there are two ways I can get there. Number one, I can travel 30 meters this way, 20 meters, and then another 30 meters. In this case, my distance, notice that it doesn't have this hat, is equal to my first distance 1 plus distance 2 plus distance 3, right? And so I'm going to end up adding 30 plus 20 plus 30. So to get to point A, I need to travel a distance of 80 meters. Pretty straightforward. Now, displacement is where things get kind of weird. Now, displacement measures the distance from where I start to where I finish. Okay? So in this case, we kind of omit these two 30s don't matter because we go 30 meters this way and then 30 meters this way. So our net displacement in that direction is 0. So the only thing left is this 20-meter chunk in between point A and point B. We call it like as the crow flies. So when you're trying to find distance, you just add them all up. Displacement, you're pretending you have like the best arm in the world and you can throw it from one to another. Okay? So in this case, the displacement, note the hat is there, is equal to just 20 meters, and we're going to say south, because this displacement needs to have a direction. So I'll go north, south, east, and west. Okay? Moral of the story, if I go back, distance is the length in meters or kilometers between objects, right? So if I do a complete lap of this track, I traveled a distance of 800 meters. Displacement is from start to finish. So if I did this track and went all the way around, my displacement would be 0. If I went across the river, this is the value of displacement. These three things together will be the distance. And that is the difference between distance and displacement.